World champion, how's it feel?
Feels like I'm speechless, and
Go ahead.
yeah, I thought on a perfect day I could sneak in for a medal, and Joe kept telling me that anything was possible, and kept reminding me of the hard workouts I've done, and that I've been really healthy this year and have been running well and training well. But as we all know, I came in ranked 6th on time and ranked 5th of the people in the final, and I knew that I had to have a perfect day to get on the podium. And when the whole race, I just felt strong and controlled and powerful, and I kept waiting and waiting for it to feel bad, and it never did. And then, in 2015 and 2016, I got burned the last water jump. I was in a battle with someone and came out in last, and in 15, that made me lose a medal position. And so Joe just told me that last 150, that last water jump, be really powerful, use all the good form I know I can do. And so I saved that gear, and that last water jump, I think I had a good water, and I came out feeling strong, and that last 100 just kicked, and was kind of waiting for someone to come up and steal it from me, and no one did.
Did you ever know it was Courtney behind you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I could see, I look up on the Jumbotron, and I could see her on my shoulder, and then with 300 to go, she was ahead of me. And that's an extra layer of motivation. I know that Courtney's good, and the Bowerman group is having, a hell of a meet this year, so I knew they were fit. But it definitely helps when you have kind of a friend or someone who you race enough to know that, okay, if she's there, I should be there for sure. And so it provided an extra layer of motivation, and she and I both just felt really good. And seeing the time, I was, super surprised and happy about, but
Athletes
a lot of words for saying I was lost for words.
Athletes dream about having the perfect race. Was that the perfect race?
I think it was for me. I think that's the difference between Rio and this race was, Rio, I was proud of that. I felt like that was a gritty race for me, that I ran a lot of it in no man's land in a hot, tough conditions. And this race was the opposite. I felt great and was waiting for it to feel bad. And so I don't know which is more satisfying as an athlete, when you have to overcome a battle in a race and it's really tough and you get through it and you do well, or when it just comes easy and you look at the clock and you're the world champion with a big PR. So that both races I think were pretty perfect days for me, and it's hard to say which is more perfect, but I'm so happy. I'm rambling, but I'm sorry.
Talk about all the crazy stuff that happened. It was nuts.
I tried to just stay calm, and I saw Beatrice miss that first water and I think she came back so she wouldn't get DQ'd, which props to her for thinking that through and not just continuing. And then I knew someone fell just because I heard the crowd say, make some noise, but I didn't know it was her. But I just tried to stay calm, and the plan was to just stay on it, and it was to not let the Africans go, and especially those middle laps when they tend to surge, and I tend to, in most Diamond League races, that's when I tend to chill out a little bit, and they tend to put down the hammer. So, that last kilometer, those last 3 laps just came really easy, and the drama from the first kilometer didn't really faze me much.
So it was better for you to stay up with them and rather than easing back a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the plan was to just risk it, and if it meant I blew up, I'd rather blow up and have gone for it than not tried at all. So, but again, I just felt good. So they surged a little bit in the middle, but I felt strong, and and seeing Courtney right there, it again provided a little bit of motivation that, hey, she's doing this, you can do it too. So we're together doing that victory lap was incredible together, and again, I don't think anyone bet that we'd have 2 medals tonight, right?
You're literally a small town girl. What do you think this means to Crested Butte, Colorado?
Yeah, growing up in a small town, it's great because you have built-in fans from the very first day, and they root for me and love me if I'm running a 5-minute mile in high school or if I'm running, winning a world championship. So I'm so grateful, and I'm going back this fall to do a charity road race that I started September 30th called Elk Run 5K, a little plug. And so I'm really grateful to be able to come back home and give back and hopefully create an event that can, give back to the community because they've given me so much.
What were you thinking when the Africans start dropping off? I mean, are you getting excited? What's going through your mind?
I was I just felt so controlled that I assumed that everyone else felt as controlled as I did, and so I was just kind of waiting for 3 Africans to pass me or for the surge to overtake me. And so there were a few laps that it was pretty strung out, and I think I was maybe 4th or 5th. And in those laps, I was thinking, just stay on it. And then once the last kilometer, it whittled down to just a few of us, and Courtney was one of the girls, and I just felt powerful and strong. And with 2 to go, I kind of started realizing that there were just a few of us left. But again, I thought very well could end up 6th in this race, and I had to stay on it.
What was the moment like crossing the line, and what did you say to Courtney right afterwards?
I don't think it's family friendly to tell you what I said to Courtney. Holy guacamole is the PG version. But we were just both, she just kept saying, am I dreaming? Like it was, it's an unreal moment for both of us. And Team USA is having such a great meet, and so to get to contribute 2 medals to that, is something we're both so proud of, and we both work really hard all year long, and to have it all come together with big personal bests and medals is, that's all an athlete can ask for.
Do you think switching to Joe this year, I mean, a lot of people would have questioned you moving after the Olympic bronze medal. I mean, do you feel like the extra strength you did under him helped you get here, or?
Yeah, I think I was telling you at pre, we definitely added more strength and started training a little bit more like a 5K runner. And I think, had I stayed with Mark and Heather, I'm sure that I would, be a healthy athlete running well. But I made a move just mainly for my happiness, and I'm glad it worked out, and Joe's been doing a great job, and I've been confident in him. And Mark and Heather are obviously having great success with Jenny, and I, root them on and wish them well. But I think, I'm not looking back. I'm really happy with the decision I made, and Joe and I are really happy.
Did he tell you anything specific before the race today?
He just kept telling me that he likes to say, it's just running, baby. And that's his way of just saying, like, it's just running. Just go out there and do what you know, you don't have to overthink it. Go out there and do what you know you're good at. And just kept reminding me that I'm, one of the best in the world, and to specifically stay on it, don't let them go, and have a good last strong water. Those were his words of wisdom.
When did you realize you could win the race?
Not till like 80 meters to go. I came off that water feeling strong, and I guess really with like 180 to go when I was coming into the water jump, and I had a good line. And I felt strong, and I approached it feeling good. I came off it feeling good, and that's when I was like, hey, this is unusual. I usually don't feel this good. And so this is a kind of a weird little anecdote, but Aisha, my new training partner and friend, she is married to Will Lear, and he has this way of kind of cueing us sometimes when we're sprinting, of doing like Will arms is how I think of it. I see him run, and I'm like, okay, that's how you sprint. Okay, I gotta do that. And so I was thinking, be like Will the last 80, because he's much quicker than I am. And so I was thinking, be like Will, and I was expecting someone to come up beside me, and I felt like I had another gear. I didn't feel like collapsing at the end with exhaustion. I felt really strong the whole last 100, so it wasn't probably until the last 150 that I thought I could win it.
His last question.
How did American steeplechasing get to this point? 1-2 at the World Championships.
I think we all motivate each other. I think when Evan and I started really, the last couple of years being consistently in the front, or in the mix, I should say, not in the front. We both. I was motivated by his performances. When I saw him run 8 minutes in Paris in 15, that motivated me. That like, okay, you can't keep these mental barriers of what you think is impossible. And seeing him succeed made me want to do better. And so I think I hope that Courtney feels the same way. Seeing Evan succeed and seeing me succeed, I think motivates her, and having Courtney on my shoulder motivated me during the race. So I think it's in a small scale, similar to probably the women's 100 hurdles. They're motivating each other because they're all good and there's not many spots. And so I think having just build snowballs off each other. We're making each other better and motivating each other.
Congratulations.
Thanks.